Good morning, everyone. I'm Inspector Don Coleman, Coleman, the Calgary Police Service Major Crimes Section. Before I speak to the Copperfield homicide, I'd like to take a quick moment to ask for the public help to locate a man who's wanted in connection with the 2013 homicide. Yesterday, we put out a plea asking for public information that could help us locate 21-year-old Nathan Paul Gervais. Gervais has been charged with first-degree murder and his trial is set to start next month. However, he has violated the 24-hour house arrest that the court mandated him to abide by, and our investigators have been unable to locate him. We have been pursuing him through other investigated avenues and did not want to compromise those by releasing his information earlier. However, now we are at a point in our search where we require the public's assistance in locating Nathan. We are again asking anyone who had contact with him over the past week or anyone with information on his whereabouts to contact our non-emergency line at 403-266-1234 or Crime Stoppers. The latest incident, the Calgary Police Service has laid charges in connection with a homicide that occurred outside a Copperfield liquor store late last month. At approximately 10:55 p.m. on Thursday, March 24th, 2016, three men had a confrontation while exiting a liquor store located in the 15,000 block of McIvor Boulevard S.E. During the confrontation, it is believed that one of the men punched another, causing the victim to lose consciousness, striking his head on the pavement when he fell to the ground. The victim was transported to hospital in serious condition and later died from his injuries on Monday, April 11th. Following the victim's death, the investigation was upgraded from an assault investigation to a homicide investigation. The victim has been identified as Peter William Nassichuk, 37 of Calgary, and Rico Alan Properzi, 31 of Calgary, is now charged with one count of manslaughter. Properzi surrendered to police without incident the morning of Thursday, April 21st, and he will appear next in court on Friday, April 29th. And I'll answer any questions as best I can.
Can you talk to us about the relationship between the three people involved? Did they all know each other? Was this random?
The offender in this case, Mr. Properzi, and a friend were at the liquor store. They did not know the victim.
So was this a random case, or did they get into I guess how would you describe it?
Well, it was random in nature by virtue that wasn't planned. There was some sort of a conflict in the liquor store and then again in the parking lot, but the details of that, I'm not aware of what exactly that conflict was at this point.
Any witnesses in this case, have they been cooperative and
Yeah.
have they been helping in your investigation?
Yes, we've had cooperation from everybody involved to some extent in this incident.
Cooperation including from the accused when you were talking to him yesterday?
To some degree, by virtue of the fact that he has cooperated with police, made himself available, turned himself in yesterday to investigators, so he's cooperated to that extent. One small group of people, and then the victim was by himself.
So did you, I guess in terms of the assault investigation, know who was involved from the onset and then it just unfortunately proceeded to manslaughter?
Yeah, a short time after the initial investigation was undertaken, everybody was identified. And then over the course of medical treatment and the unfortunate passing of Mr. Nassichuk, then it was turned over to homicide investigators.
So to clarify again, did you say it began inside the liquor store? And what occurred?
Everybody was in the liquor store that's initially. There was some type of an interaction in the liquor store, and then it continued outside when everybody was leaving, finished their transaction in the liquor store, went to leave, and then it continued in the parking lot.
Is there any indication that this is like alcohol involved and this is like a drunken argument? It just kind of escalated inside the liquor store?
I'm not sure on that, the level of intoxication, if any. The conflict or the incident inside the liquor store was strictly verbal, and then it continued outside and escalated to physical confrontation.
Are you expected to lie any other charges against anybody else that was there?
No, we don't. I think as far as charges goes, we're finished.
Just in terms of a clarification into the release, was there several hits thrown, or was it just one punch and that was it?
That's not details we would release at this point.
And just to clarify, no weapons used?
No weapons used.
The other people that were there, did they try and stop the argument, or did they just kind of stand back and let it go?
From what I can recall from my knowledge of the incident, the main two parties were Mr. Properzi and Mr. Nassichuk.
And were police called to the fight?
Yes, police and EMS.
Inspector, your first suspect that's fled, do you get the sense that he's still in the area, or do you feel he's left the area for someplace else?
I don't know that. It would appear that he may have fled to avoid prosecution. That's only speculation at this point. Only Mr. Gervais knows that for sure. So his whereabouts at this point, we're not sure, but we're hoping for any public information that can help get him back to town and then before the courts.
If we're switching gears here in terms of Mr. Gervais, how long have you known this was the individual you were looking for? Like, did you know from the onset? Because there's been a few public appeals trying to find the people responsible for this morning.
Yeah, well, Mr. Gervais was charged a while ago and has been bound by court orders upon his release that he's violated. So part of managing people on release, it was learned that he breached that condition. So we knew his identity's never been an issue in relation to the breach and him being missing or avoiding prosecution, whichever it is.
When did you guys notice that he breached his conditions?
I'm not sure if I have that date actually.
What kind of reporting was he under? Like, he was under the house arrest, and how often did you guys check on him, or did he have to report?
He would have been checked, and I don't know the details of the frequency of those checks. They'd be random in nature, so I don't know how many have been undertaken.
He wasn't wearing a monitor.
No.
Now, obviously, for the victims' families and that, what does this do for the trial if your accused isn't around?
Well, it's quite impactful as there's multiple accused in this case. So it has the potential to delay everything.
In terms of the case, are you still looking for other individuals in terms of the death?
No, I believe the original investigation is complete, and trial was set for sometime next month, so it's getting close.
And just to clarify again, you don't know where he is. I mean, he could have fled the province, the country. You're just trying to get some information as to where he might have gone.
Right. Yeah, no idea at this point where he could be. I anticipate being able to narrow that down, but at this point we're not sure of his whereabouts or his intention.
As a matter of procedure, are border crossings alerted when you have a suspect that flees the area?
They would be, yes.
Did you get any tips from the release from yesterday when you indicated that he was missing?
Actually, I'm not sure if the investigators may have. I'm not aware of any, but so I really don't know.
And just to be clear, I'm not sure. I don't know much about him. Does he have ties to Calgary?
Mr. Gervais
Yes.
does, yes, has family in town.
Yes. Just go back to the other case. Was Properzi initially charged with assault and then upgraded to manslaughter?
No, the manslaughter charge was the only charge.
And by surrender to police, he came in on his own accord, or was he picked up at his house?
Well, he was contacted by investigators and made himself available.